Welcome to OP Said. Hi, I'm Mel, and today we have some of the best stories we've had so far.
And I'm May, and we're here to give you reactions, opinions, and go through all the feels.
Get comfy. I'm Marie. Let's dive in.
Our first story is from Am I the Arsehole? I already know it's going to spark some debate. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister I won't let her see our dying mother? I was born to a single mother who had my older sister, 32 female, who is actually my half-sister, from another man that she left when my sister was about 3 years old. At Christmas dinner, our entire family gathered, so we caught up. I have a really difficult but high-paying job, one that exhausts me, but having a single mother with no stable income of any kind, reliable job, etc. in the past, I've had to skip meals quite often, and I absolutely fear going back to that. So I've made clear that my goal is to keep the income I have right now at any cost. My sister was quick to comment that since I have a well-paying job, and in brackets, and possibility of a raise in the future, that I have to be the one who will entirely financially cover our mother's medical bills and needs towards the end of her life. It didn't sound like a joke. My mum is chronically ill and has always been. She has arthritis, psoriasis, is on immunosuppressants, has had cancer, as well as being overweight, and recently having had to go through surgery because her stomach was in a terrible state. I supported her as much as I could, but these ridiculous amounts rack up quickly in cost. I had to borrow money and it was hell to pay off. My sister never, ever helped. I answered, "You've never done shit for her before and you still won't do shit for her when she needs you the most. I'm tired of you acting like I or she owe you anything when you could never do anything for yourself." She got extremely upset, at first telling me I was overreacting and then it was just logic that I would be the one paying for our mum. But it isn't the first time she's putting our mother's care in my hands and using us for money while she spends what little she has on restaurants and unnecessities. She then went off the rails and started accusing my mother of never doing anything for her either, being a selfish woman and many more things that upset everybody on the table. I outright told her to shut up and get out of my house, and adding that, considering I will be taking care of my mother, I won't be letting her see her again, even when time comes that she's on her deathbed. She told me to go fuck myself and that I was being unreasonable, etc. We haven't spoken since, but my grandma says she's still pissed at me and regularly talks shit about me.
She can have her feelings about the mum, the sister, but unless the mother doesn't want to see her sister, she doesn't really have a say. Like, you don't get to control who your mother gets to see before she dies just because you look after that person. So unfortunately, if your mum wants to see her daughter before she dies, that's her right and you should accommodate that. If your mum doesn't want to see her daughter before she dies, then of course you can uphold your promise. But death is not something that you can hold over someone. That's a very wild, like, this whole scenario is a little bit wild. I think it's a wild question to ask. Obviously, the context is that the daughter's been a crappy daughter. She's not helped, but we don't know what kind of a mother mum has been to said daughter as well. So without that context, it's really hard for us to come to a conclusion. But I go back to the first thing that I said, that if mummy doesn't want to see the daughter, fair.
Yeah.
If she does, we don't have an argument here. You have to uphold that.
Agreed.
I agree with Marie.
Anything else you would like to add, May?
This is fantastic. Move along, guys.
No, I'm totally in agreement with Marie. But it's frustrating that she doesn't do anything, and
Yeah.
she just sounds like an absolute spoiled brat. But yeah, it's not her decision as to who her mum sees on her deathbed. That isn't fair. But at the same time, like, her sister needs to like contribute. That I can only imagine, like, medical bills. I'm gonna assume this is in the States. Oh, they're so high.
This is so high.
Like, come on, try and like add, like, be of service. But like, do you not want to contribute to your own mother's medical bills, like taking care of your mum, especially at the end as well? Her sister's sounds awful, but yeah, it's not her decision to make. Okay, we have an edit. Thank you to everyone for all the insight received. It's clear to me by your communications that I have too much unresolved resentment towards my sister and need to let it go. For info, that's been asked. My mother lives with me full time. We don't have much access to aid as we live in a remote area, but I'll look for what I can find. My mum wasn't neglectful to us. I know not many may agree or understand this, but I know my sister, and she's always been eccentric. When things don't go her way, she disowns us before calling us a week later again for money. It's tiring. And as I've said in a comment, my mum is still making up her mind about whether she wants to see my sister or not. Until then, I said I won't welcome her in my house. She can see her if she wants, but until my sister is ready to talk things out with me, I don't want her presence in my home. Again, thank you. Top comment. What does your mum want? If she wants to see your sister, then yes, you are the asshole for keeping them apart.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mummy said maybe.
It's true. It's true. So for now,
Mummy's like,
Yeah,
I
she
don't know
can
if I want to
uphold-
see that
yeah.
girl.
she can uphold her decision and be like, yeah, you ain't seeing mum, because she didn't say yes, you can come.
Yeah, that means that
And
mummy's
mummy
real
is in
50-50.
her home as well. So it's like, yeah, you ain't coming to my house.
But
And
it-
also mum doesn't want you around.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is fair that she gets to approve who comes to her house or not.
That's true.
That's like, yes, that's
No,
completely
that
fine.
part is fair. Remember that program about the epidemic of AIDS and HIV? It has the guy from, it was on Channel 4, and basically at the end of it, the
and
main
he's
character.
someone, Thingy Nolan's son.
Yeah.
No, do you know what I'm talking about? It was a film that came out.
It's not a
COVID
film
times.
though. It was
No,
like
show,
6.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
COVID
like
times.
6.
It's like BBC or ITV,
Yeah.
isn't
Guys,
it?
what's this thing about?
It's about
Anyway,
AIDS.
it's about
this,
gay. How they thought that gay AIDS came from gay people. What was the epidemic of
in the UK.
in the UK
Yeah.
of AIDS within the gay community? And in the end, the main character, he dies. But when he dies, his mum didn't know he was gay. She didn't know anything. His friends helped him,
The BBC
and then
show.
Yeah,
she
that was-
takes
yeah,
she
during
takes
COVID.
him away, and then his friends don't, and then they're in the same city, and he dies, and she doesn't even call them to come and see, and he repeatedly asks, can my friends come? They know who I truly am. And she never let them know. And then when she finally meets with the best friend, she's like, oh, he died 3 days ago. And it's just so heartbreaking because he never even wanted to be with his mum. She didn't know him very well.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be with his best friends. And they were in Brighton they were in the area.
I remember
I
that.
cried so badly because I was like, so unfair. He didn't even get to
was
see his
sad.
people.
But she was
it just-
embarrassed, in it, because of the AIDS crisis, and
Yeah.
and I think it was controlling a little bit as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember the lead actor is a singer of a band.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can
he's,
see
something
myself
Nolan's son.
with my eyes.
Do you know Lou
shut.
Swimming? Something Nolan. Is he not? Oh, my
I
bad.
can see through them.
I'm giving people
You
kids
know.
that they don't have.
Okay.
No, he is. Yes, he is. Do you know EastEnders? He's Alfie's son and something Nolan.
No, he
That's him.
isn't. He isn't.
Let
Was
me
it
tell you something now.
1920s?
I stopped watching EastEnders in 2000 and maybe
Alfie.
5. I know who Alfie
He's
is.
Alfie's son,
No,
and
he isn't.
with something Nolan that was on Loose Women.
That is it now that we're going to find this out next.
Okay, sorry. Lost
Yeah, it
I
might
lost
be.
my way. He isn't.
She may or may not be right.
I
But
am
I'll put a picture. I'll make sure that you guys know what show I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm
If you
actually-
haven't watched it, make
I'm-
sure you watch it.
It was really good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, really, really good.
And I explained it really badly. Really sorry about that.
Did I. Dilemma aside, we know that a lot of you that watch our videos don't actually subscribe. Please could you hit the subscribe button? It'll help us so much more than you know, and help us to reach even more people like you who live and love our dilemmas. And for those that would like to even see more of us, we're also on TikTok, Instagram and X at OP Said Podcast. Hit subscribe. My story comes from relationship advice. I, 28 female, found out my husband, 29 male, has been telling his co-workers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Please. What?
Shit.
What do I do? Please help. Throwaway account because I don't use or understand Reddit, but I really need advice from someone not connected to me or my husband. My husband, I'll call him Josh, and I have been together for 6 years, married for 4, and we don't have kids. We have a really healthy and communicative relationship. We're both pretty easygoing, and I really love him. He started working at a large accounting firm about 3 years ago, and from what he tells me, he loves it there. He's made a lot of friends through his job, and he goes out with them for drinks and social events quite often. And I've been totally okay with that. I'm quite introverted, so I've never been interested in meeting his colleagues or work friends, nor have I asked to. I've got my own circle of friends, and I'm fine with us having separate friend groups. After what happened yesterday, it only just occurred to me that he has never actually asked me if I'd like to meet any of them or go to one of his work events. I guess that's important context. Anyway, I'll start with what happened a few months ago that I had brushed off until now. I was at a bar with some friends for a couple of Friday after work drinks, and a guy approached me. He was there with some friends too. He looked slightly familiar, but I hadn't met him before. He seemed friendly enough, and he asked me, my name, right? I think I must have given him a confused look because he followed it up with, I'm Jake. I work with Josh. I realised that I recognised him from some photos on my husband's phone. I don't use social media except for a private Instagram, so I'm not sure if he posted the photos anywhere, but we've got a very trusting relationship, so I look into his photos sometimes. Don't hate me. This is where it gets a bit embarrassing. I'm a bit socially awkward, and so I struggled to end the conversation, but he just kept talking to me, and I guess he was already a couple of beers deep. But while he was talking, he said something like, it's great that you guys are still so close. I haven't talked to my brother in ages. At the time, I was like, huh? But I just assumed he was drunk and not making sense, so I ignored it. He started to get a little flirty, so I turned to my friends and we left shortly after that. I didn't say anything to them about it, and it didn't seem like a big deal to me. I also decided not to tell my husband that I had met his co-worker, Jake. Not to hide it, but because I figured the guy wouldn't even remember talking to me. And I didn't want to make it awkward for Josh at work by telling him his colleague tried to hit on me. I just thought, no harm, no foul. But yesterday morning, I was out walking our dog, Monty. He's a cross between a few breeds and has very unique markings. This matters, I promise. And I was on my way to my regular cafe, which is in town. I was waiting in line to order, and the guy in front was an older man. He got his coffee and turned around, but stopped and looked at my dog and goes, hello, Monty. Monty was super excited to see him, apparently, and so I guessed that the guy was another colleague of Josh's because Josh brings the dog to the office a couple of times a week. I thought it was sweet, to be honest, so I smiled at him and said hi. He introduced himself. I guessed correctly, he was a colleague, but then he said something like, aren't you a good sister, walking his dog for him? I was so confused that I didn't even know how to react at first, so I stumbled on my words and just said, it's my dog. I regret that I genuinely couldn't bring myself to correct him and say that I'm Josh's wife and not his sister. It was just too awkward, and I just wanted to leave because I thought it was suddenly dawning on me what might have been going on. He asked me something about sharing a dog, but I was able to escape the conversation by being next in line to order my coffee, and he left. I seriously don't know what to do because what the fuck? Do I even ask my husband about this? Part of me is just assuming or hoping it's a mistake and that he doesn't talk about me much at work. And they assume we are related because we both have brown hair.
No,
But the
come on.
thought that he has been telling his co-workers that I'm his sister and evidently they've seen what I look like, so they must have seen photos, makes my stomach churn. I don't even know how I would broach the subject with him. I need some help. What would you guys do in this situation? I have only told one friend what happened because it's weird and embarrassing, and she's jumped straight to time to plot his downfall because she's my ride or die. Love her. But I don't want to immediately assume the worst or ruin my marriage over something that could be nothing. I'm sorry for the long and rambly post, but I would really appreciate any and all advice.
What is everyone talking about? He is telling people you're his sister. He's saying you have family relationship when you are clearly a couple. My girl, there's nothing to investigate. Go and ask your husband why he's telling people that you're his sister, bro. That's literally all that needs to happen here.
She says she doesn't want to jump to conclusions. Is she flipping crazy?
You need to
She's
ask
had
him.
2 instances where she has been referred to as his sister. One she thought was drunkenly and the other was in daytime, whilst going to a cafe with her dog. Sis, stop being delusional. Stop being delusional. That man is walking around and saying that you are his sibling because he is, for whatever reason, embarrassed to call you his wife. I don't want to hear that crap about, oh yeah, maybe we look the same because we have brown hair. Excuse me, are you crazy? Do I look like everybody else that's got black hair? Like, what?
I'm your
No,
wife.
no. Sis, let's get very, very, very real for a moment here. Your husband is not proud enough to call you his wife. That's what's going on. Your husband is ashamed, embarrassed, and lying about the state of your relationship. You need to confront that man, give him all the evidence. You can ask him why, but ultimately I would end with, clearly this isn't working for you because you are embarrassed to call yourself my husband. So let's end it now.
Oh, look at you. For the first time ever, she's really telling you what she would tell everyone else. Because she's been trying to be mature for this. This is fantastic. Because what the hell is going on here?
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I've never heard of such rubbish
She
in my
said,
life.
jump to conclusion. She's being delusional. She's actually lying to herself because she's got the evidence.
This is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you've got to bring it up. I don't care how you bring it up, by the way. Do you know what I'll do though? Because there's this thing that people do where if you're silent, they fill that space for you. So you don't even have to tell them about the two people. Just say, so you're introducing me as your sister at work.
Mm-hmm.
Then let him fill in the blank after that. Just look at him. Look at him. Let's hear what lie he's going to come up with. Because, I mean, you don't need more proof. Two people have already told you that you're siblings as far as they're concerned, and they are his colleagues. So there's that. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that he's ashamed, though. I'm going to go to cheating.
He's ashamed or cheating.
I'm going to go with he's making himself appear a single man, so he's readily available to entertain other people. Like, there could be somebody that he really likes at work, you know. There could be, one of his colleagues could be someone he's attracted to, and he's created space and the environment to foster more than a friendship with somebody that he works with or somebody in the area where he goes out to drinks. I don't know, but I would
Agreed,
more
but where
likely
does it lead
jump
us
to
to?
that
Divorce.
conclusion. Yeah. It leads to divorce. So just bring it up, but create a space whereby he fills in the blanks. Because do you know what? I'm really tired of conversations where you give too much information and also give them an opportunity to excuse that behavior. There is no excuse for this. There just isn't. It's weird at the very least.
Yeah, that's mad.
Okay, so we have an edit. Holy fuck. Thank you, everyone who commented with some advice. I haven't read all of them, but I really appreciate the suggestions from you guys. A small update. Josh came home at about 2:30 a.m. last night, but he was drunk. So he just went straight to sleep, which is fine by me because, fuck, having this conversation in that state, ugh. I've just woken up, but he's still sleeping. First thing, I just want to clear up. I've seen a lot of people suggesting I have crippling social anxiety or am severely introverted, which I suppose you could glean from the way I explained what happened, but I'm not. I meant that I'm slightly introverted in that I'm not the most eager to meet lots of new people at once, especially a bunch of finance bros whose weekends consist of upending sports bar beers, where I assume I would be mansplained everything until my ears bleed. Probably a negative assumption, and I'm sure some of you know what I mean. I suppose that you could say I'm confrontation averse in that I'm quite laid back and prefer to keep a conversation easy and positive. I don't know. I don't like it when things are awkward, and correcting when people misrecognize me is one of those things, but I'm not terrified of confrontation. Also, my husband and I do share some mutual friends. I didn't explain that well, but our lives are not entirely separate. The way he acts towards me around our mutual friends is extremely affectionate and normal. It is only with his work friends that I have never interacted with. I've also seen some people suggest that what is going on is the equivalent to my husband beating me, and I'm hopelessly wondering whether I should break up with him, or that I'm stupid for thinking my relationship was healthy when it clearly isn't. Like, damn, cut me some slack. I'm a real person, and this is an entirely alien and bizarre situation for me. My first reaction wasn't to assume the worst, but I do appreciate that you have all made me certain that this is a big deal. I guess I needed confirmation that the things that happen are enough proof that Josh has purposely been lying and they weren't just mix-ups. I'm going to talk to him today and ask him directly why he's telling his co-workers that I'm his sister. I followed the advice of writing my points down so that they don't get lost if I get emotional, LOL. I will do my best not to let him slither out of it, and I hope he has some proof that his colleagues know I'm his wife. I know that's not the theatrical confrontation you guys are hoping for, but it's a Saturday and I can't wait. Wish me luck. Thank you all. Top comment. Walk up to him and ask directly, why are you telling your colleagues that I'm your sister? Sorry, but this is nothing where you beat around the bush.
Yeah.
But I just walk to him. And
No,
tell him,
literally.
what go on for you?
What is this?
What are you doing?
But you know what? I don't even blame her for keeping quiet though. The first time, even the second time it happened. You know when you're like, what the?
No, I
Like,
definitely
you're
understand.
embarrassed. You're shocked. You're confused. You're like,
But you know what? I think I would, by the second time, I'd be like, no, I'm his wife. And they can run back and tell them so that he's known as a big liar, which he is. So mine is from Cheating Stories. My kids knew about my wife's affair and helped her cover it up. Last week, while my wife, 49 female, was taking a shower, I, 50 male, saw a notification pop up on her phone and went to open it thinking it was one of our daughters, in brackets Maddie 24 and Alice 26 female, confirming what time their girls' dinner was. Instead, I saw an unsaved number saying, I can't wait to see you, and then a kissing emoji. I froze for a second. I clicked on the message and saw a short thread mostly confirming dinner plans for that evening and how they missed each other and once a week just wasn't enough. I knew what I saw. 29 years of marriage down the drain. Hoping to catch her in a lie before she left the house, I texted both of our daughters and asked them about the girls' dinner. What happened next broke me to my core. Both girls confirmed the dinner and said they were excited. I couldn't believe it. Not proud of what came next, I turned her location sharing on with me in her phone and let her leave. I followed her to the restaurant and lo and behold, neither daughter was there, but instead a man I knew was her boss. I was so heartbroken. Part of me was hoping I was just a paranoid freak and my daughters would be there happy to see me, but no, just my cheating wife and her AP. I took pictures of the two of them holding hands and kissing. I know I should have waited, but I couldn't help myself. I was so angry. As soon as I got in my car, I opened the group chat we had as a family, sent them all the photos and said, glad you're enjoying girls' dinner together. I then turned my phone off and drove to my brother's house and asked to stay the night. I woke up the next morning to over 40 texts and 20 voicemails. My wife went through the cheater's playbook of excuses. Wow. I didn't even listen to her voicemails. I was about to respond with, I will be getting a divorce. I recommend a lawyer. But my brother stopped me. He told me to meet with a bunch of lawyers first and make sure she couldn't use them. Instead, I just sent the group chat a simple message. I am physically fine, but need time. I will come home when I'm ready. I then muted my phone. I called different lawyers that looked to be the best in town that morning for appointments, met with all of them, and picked the one who looked ready to treat this as a scorched earth as possible. Finally, after spending all day with lawyers, I looked through the messages and both my daughters were apologizing. My youngest daughter, the daddy's girl of the two, was manic. She had texted me almost 50 times saying she never should have lied and hated it every time. Her boyfriend even reached out asking me to please reach out to her, that he didn't know what was going on, but she was on the verge of a panic attack. Maddie, I love you, but please understand that what you've done has hurt me deeply. I need you to give me space. I sent it and within seconds got it. Okay, I'm so sorry. I never should have helped. I'll never forgive myself. I love you too. I didn't respond. Alice was different. We always had a good relationship, but she was a mama's girl through and through. She said she was sorry, but I shouldn't throw away a good marriage because of one mistake. This made me furious. Alice, this isn't a mistake. This is a betrayal from the whole family. Yep. Please don't reach out again until I make first contact. She never responded, but I know she showed it to my soon-to-be ex because she started saying that I shouldn't take this out on Alice. I never responded. I'll never talk to her again except through lawyers. This all happened 5 days ago. I'm still at my brother's and can't contain my feelings. I cry every morning and most of the day. I oscillate between complete debilitating sadness and all-consuming anger. Losing my wife will be hard enough, but how do I ever look at my children again? How do I even begin to forgive them? Alice is supposed to get married in the fall. I've been paying for almost everything. Now I'm probably not going to go. I don't even know how to move forward. I'm completely destroyed.
Okay, so I think we're missing information. We need information from the wife before I feel like I can give a more well-rounded response. The reason that I say that is because it's very rare that women are on side with cheating, like that women are okay with cheating. So for the daughters to be okay with cheating makes me think that maybe, just maybe, OP's not a good husband. That actually OP's not a good partner to his wife. He might be a good father and he might have a great relationship with his daughters. But I'm telling you, I think that we're missing information in order to understand how they could not only have been okay with it, but also complicit with everything around this cheating scenario, this storyline. I don't know. I guess I really need to know the relationship that he has with his wife.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. That you sound like you're siding and on the whole men ain't shit kind of. So there must be a reason why this woman is cheating. I'm gonna take this information at face value. Take all the information that we were provided, and wrong is wrong. Cheating is wrong. That's just it. I don't need to know the whys. At the end of the day, it sounds like it was an affair. It doesn't sound like it's a one-time thing. They're making dinner plans. The daughters are all in. Even one of them said that she hated doing it each and every time, which means it's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not okay. I don't need to know why the mum, even if like their marriage has gone dead, they've got a dead bedroom, I don't need to know all of that. If you feel that way, leave. Like she's got everyone caught up in this lie.
Yeah.
Like that's not okay. Like to the point where the dad now thinks he can't even attend his daughter's wedding. A wedding that he's been planning with her, paying for. Like this is messed up. Like I feel so sorry for him because it's not enough that his partner, his wife of how many years betrayed him. His daughters did too.
Yeah.
This cuts deep. I feel incredibly, incredibly, incredibly sorry for him. That is awful. It's like he's got no one to turn to, and kind of he already knows which side each girl's going to go to as well. So it's awful. I feel really sorry for him. I think his brother's given him really good advice in terms of, not telling everyone his next move, seeking out divorce lawyers, etc. Whatever he can do to help him move on and move out of that relationship. I feel sorry for him.
I think his brother's a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him, honestly.
But this is a 50-year-old man. I can only assume that his brother will be either in his late 40s or older than him. So he better be giving good advice and not running around acting the fool.
Age is not indicative.
That's why I said he
sound
better be.
advice.
Yeah, I know that. But yeah, okay. We have an update.
Okay.
I can't believe it's been a year since my original post.
Oh,
Wow.
Some days it feels like it just happened yesterday, and others I feel like it's always happened. There was never a before. My soon-to-be ex-wife, Julie, 50, and I are still going through the divorce proceedings. We were forced to do a 6-month legal separation before we could do the divorce. I moved back home after a week and a half at my brother's. I served her with the legal separation a week later to ensure I had re-established that our house was still my home location. The terms were absolute hell. We had 1 year left on the mortgage, so whoever was going to stay at the house was supposed to pay the full amount for the year. Of course, because she had been a stay-at-home mum 20 years ago until Maddie started pre-K, in brackets, her decision that I was against, she used that against me. And she was allowed to stay at the house, but we split the mortgage. I ended up moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. That's where I'm writing this now. Maddie and I made up somewhat quickly. She came to the house and refused to leave until I talked to her. She didn't throw a fit or anything. She just wouldn't leave. This went on for a couple of weeks. Her boyfriend was annoyed. He kept coming over and hated the awkwardness, but she would just say in front of Julie and I that she would not return to their apartment until she and I were talking again. At the time, it was really annoying. I hated being there, and Julie and I were fighting over the legal separation. But I eventually unleashed some frustration onto Maddie, and she told me how she found out. Apparently, at an actual girls' dinner 2 weeks prior to my finding out, Julie was quite drunk and let it slip. Alice and Julie begged her to keep quiet until Julie could come clean to me. Maddie was crying as she said this and told me she now realises that her mum had no intention of ever telling me. The girls' dinner lie was the first time she had lied to me about the affair, and according to her mum, she was going to break it off with the AP and then tell me that night. We were both crying and Julie came in to try and defend herself, and I unleashed all of my anger. I yelled at her like I'd never done before. Maddie even had to calm me down. She didn't just manipulate me. She straight up used at least one of our daughters. It was unforgivable. That's when I agreed to the mortgage split to get Maddie and I out of the house. Maddie moved back in with her boyfriend that night, and I found my current apartment. Maddie decorated it for me. Alice and I, unfortunately, are not on speaking terms. After the fallout, her fiancé called me and asked what was going on. He suspected she was cheating. I told him that I had no reason to suspect that she was cheating, but that my wife had cheated on me and Alice knew before me. Not sure exactly what happened next, but it ended in them breaking up. Alice blames me, saying I should not have told him anything. Since coming to my apartment in tears and blaming me for everything, she blocked me and we haven't spoken. I was able to get some of the money back from vendors I had dealt with directly, but I know Alice kept some of the money for herself. I still have no idea how long Alice knew of the affair, and her lack of remorse likely means we will never have a relationship again. Alice and Julie are currently living together at the house. Julie is openly dating her boss now. He left and went to another firm when I caught them, scared he would lose his job. I'm embarrassed to say I am jealous. Not of the two of them, they will implode, I'm sure, but jealous of being lonely. Maddie has been encouraging me to go out and helped me set up a dating profile, in brackets, so awkward. She then called me a weirdo when my first match was with a 33-year-old single mum. We have a date planned for next week, in brackets, that Maddie encouraged me to go on, but I'm not sure I'm ready to start over.
Okay, so I still do want to know the wife's side, but what's really, really clear to me is that Alice and Julie are wrong. And
Yep.
those two there's a reason that like they have such a tight bond, and she's a mummy's girl. They're bad people.
I wouldn't even necessarily say they're bad people. They're
they-
of the same mindset, though.
Yeah,
that one is
they're
clear.
literally just of the same mind, like literally apple tree.
Yeah.
I'm even stumped. No, I am, because I'm just like, wow.
So much has happened in a year, but you know what? Sometimes, sadly, you have to let situations, or it takes for a situation to occur to really see someone's true colours. And in this side, like, you really saw what your wife was really on and what your daughter is on as well. Like the fact that she's not speaking to you anymore because probably like her mother, she's okay with cheating and lies so long as it protects her.
Yeah.
And she didn't want you to expose the fact that she was okay with her mother cheating and also was covering it up for her, because that's very scary to hear as someone that's about to marry her.
Yeah.
Because it now makes him know that she's okay with cheating. And should it ever be between you two in your marriage, she's likely to do it and not show any remorse. That is horrid. That's really, really bad. And do you know what? What I really like about him is that the fact he kind of like sees things for what they are. He's like, he's not even concerned about his ex or soon to be ex-wife and their relationship. He said that's likely to implode. And he's probably correct.
It might last.
No. It may last, it may, but most of those relationships, like rebound relationships or just like the ones closely linked to like a long-term relationship, doesn't tend to last that long. So whatever may be, hopefully he can move on. It's sad that he hasn't got his, previous marriage and is no longer close with his daughter. And hopefully that will change. Maybe they'll start speaking later on. But for the moment, the chips have fallen where they're supposed to, honestly.
Yeah. Can I just say, I think for me, the true villain of this story is Alice.
Alice
I
is
think
wrong and strong, bro.
Alice ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, she really ain't shit, because not only did she know from day dot about this affair, then she tried to silence her sister. Then when she eventually got caught, she said, Dad, why'd you go and tell my fiance?
Yep.
So again, she's trying to cover up this storyline, because obviously he suspects that she's cheating. And yeah, 1 + 1 does equal 2 in this story. Like, Alice is a big villain.
She's got no accountability because she now blames her dad and holds him responsible
And then
for the
took
end
his
of her
money
relationship.
and took his money. Like,
But she probably
she's
sees
such-
that as compensation. You know that.
But that's why I said
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Alice is a bad person, because it's not enough to cheat by yourself, then to aid cheating in your actual parents' relationship is crazy work. And then to hold on to money that's actually not yours for a wedding that's not happened, that your dad kindly paid for, she's a bad person.
I think she probably feels entitled to it. He broke up my relationship. That's the least he can do for me, least he owes me. Yeah, she's a wrong one.
Top comment. Let Alice and the bitch ex live together. They deserve each other. You
Yeah.
don't need them.
They already
Literally,
do.
quite literally.
They already live together.
Quite literally. So this dilemma is from Truth Off My Chest. My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years. We have 2 kids and I'm 6 months pregnant with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent as my mum passed away when I was 12. He's my favourite human and life without him doesn't seem as colourful. His laugh is contagious. He gives these big bear hugs that seem to make all of your broken pieces feel like they're perfectly in place again. Whenever I've had a hard day, he doesn't poke and pod. He just lets me vent and listens. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatments aren't working for him. And in direct quote of the doctor, he said months, not years. Since then, he's gotten progressively worse and now is losing memory. He looked at a dog he got me for my 21st birthday and said, "Wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it?" My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through it. He's been so loving and attentive to both of my kids and I. Don't get me wrong, I am a mother first always. I don't allow myself to wallow. My kids are still loved, cared for, played with, and I haven't let my load slack around the house. Once my dad got his updated prognosis, my husband encouraged me to quit my job. And about a month later, we discovered we were pregnant again, and I still hadn't let go of my job. I kept holding out for some reason. After finding out I was pregnant again, he reassured me it was still okay to quit my job, that honestly it would save us a small fortune on daycare costs as well. So I did. I quit my job. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family's like my family and vice versa. My mum and her grew up together. We've always been solid, and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left, I drove straight to her house and she held me whilst I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in Friends, she was mine. Thick as thieves is what my mum used to say. This morning, as I was up with my 3-year-old, in brackets he's sick, my husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few he sets, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off, rolled over and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the remainder of his alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said, "I'm assuming since there hasn't been an angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet."
Hi.
Time froze at that moment. I took his phone and walked away and just read their conversations. 4 months, this man has been fucking my best friend. 4 months, these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're going to say, you should have seen the warning signs, but I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He's been so loving and attentive to me, but he always has been. So kind and gentle. There've been no late night work nights except for once in a blue moon. There's been no lingering touches between them or even glances. They act as they have since the day I first introduced them. How sick is it that she calls him her brother, but she screws him? I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today, I just need this last 24 hours of peace. As for her, I won't give her the satisfaction of a response. I don't care why she did it. She did it, and it's done. I was always the friend who cleaned up her messes. After today, I will cut her out of my life like she never mattered at all. This has to be the hardest storm I'll ever weather, but damn it, I know I'll sail right through it. If not for me, for my children.
I feel so sorry for OP because she's going through a lot. Not only is she pregnant, her dad's dying,
Her best friend,
and then
favourite human.
yeah, and then now she's found out this. I feel so sorry for her.
Everyone knows what they're doing. You know exactly what that will do to that person. You know what's going on. And more than likely, when you have friends and you're that close, you know, like bits about their life that everyone doesn't. So, you know, she knows that her dad is dying and she came and she helped her. She soothed her while through her pain. And then at the same time, you're having sex with my husband. To be honest, I think that's like under Satan. That's like the next thing. Knowing that what someone's going through and playing on that, I think that you're right under Satan. For me, that is the most evil thing that you could ever do to someone that you love. That's so bad, you know. That is so bad mind. I couldn't even look at someone in the face if I talk bad about them behind their back, let alone be sleeping with their husband whilst playing with their kids. And obviously she said that they've known each other since childhood. That means that their lives are locked in.
Yep.
She doesn't have a mum.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you know what it is? It's also, she's without remorse because that text said everything.
But this is what I'm saying. That's why I was so silent.
I don't have a pregnant woman at my doorstep who's angry.
Listen.
And it's just like, that's a very remorseless person.
Yeah.
Like, she's horrible.
Yeah, because I don't
absolutely
understand.
Horrible.
Yeah, I don't understand how I'm supposed to be your best friend and all of a sudden I'm now referred to as an angry pregnant lady. Are you fucking crazy?
Like that
Like
is so
I'm so
horrible.
apparently I'm now the villain. The person that you're doing dirty to, and that's what I don't like. Like how some people can retell a story, change the narrative, as though I'm the bad person. The one being cheated on is the bad person, and the reason why they're getting cheated on is justified, etc., etc. That person is nasty. I feel so sorry for OP because she's correct. It's like literally having the floor removed from under her feet, her husband and her best friend, and in a precarious situation she's currently in life, heavily pregnant, and her dad's dying. Both of them are terrible individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say that people say that men can't multitask. Watch them cheat. Watch them cheat and then tell me if they can't multitask, because she described a very loving husband. Okay, so I'm going to read the update. A small update about everything going on since my kids are now in bed for the night. I spent the morning gathering everything I could and making a checklist. I sat in my office for the better part of the morning telling my husband that I was preparing things for my dad. Not a total lie. I did have to get him sorted with hospice today. My boss would be happy to have me back. However, my lawyer said pump the brakes on that idea for the time being. However, my old boss did tell me that whenever I'm ready, the door is open and to just give her a call. He does not have access to my inheritance from my father nor my mother. My lawyer assured me that. I didn't mention her in the post, but my mother-in-law is an absolute angel. I love and adore her so much, and she's always been a shoulder to lean on. After he had gone to work for the afternoon, I asked my now ex-best friend's mum and my mother-in-law to meet me at my dad's house. My kids were outside playing with my now ex-best friend's older brother. I just handed them the screenshots, saving them from the unsavory pictures and sex tape, though I did tell them it existed. To say they were furious was an understatement, and they are on my side completely. Angie, my now ex-best friend's mum, is ready to cut contact with her daughter completely. She kept repeating how sorry she was. We hugged and cried together. My mother-in-law told me she couldn't believe she raised a spineless, terrible human. That no matter what happens, I will always have her. And as far as she's concerned, she doesn't have a son, only a daughter.
Yeah.
After an in-person meeting with my lawyer, we went over finances, logistics, and everything you could think of. She has all of the proof and she's out for blood.
Good.
With this post now on TikTok, I don't want him to find out by an app because one look at the story and he'll know it's about him. With permission from my lawyer, my ex-BFF, her mum and dad, my soon-to-be ex and his parents will be having a get-together tomorrow. By the time they're sitting down and showing them everything that I know, my dad, my kids, and my ex-BFF's brother, he's coming to juggle the kids, and my dad, being big and pregnant doesn't help mobility, will be at my dad's cabin a few hours away enjoying time and space. I know a lot of people were hoping for me to get revenge or do psychological warfare, but honestly, after my kids went to bed, I took a shower and just broke. I don't have the strength or energy to dish anything out. I just want out. Pretending like everything was okay today was too exhausting, and I just don't want to do it. Once he finds out tomorrow, I'll update with the aftermath, and I'm sure it will be huge. As for now, thank you all so much for your kindness, warmth, and support, truly. Your words have helped give me the strength to keep my head above water. I appreciate every single last one of you for everything. Top comment: you don't need psychological warfare when you're a full-blown soldier.
Yeah.
And sis, you certainly are. I'm so sorry you're going through so much right now, but I've never been more confident of a woman and her kids being A-okay in the long run. You've got this.
No, she's a big boss. Honestly, the way she's handling it is amazing. She needs to teach classes because she hasn't got emotional. She's just organised. Organised, rallied around, called who needed to be called, lawyer, set everything in place.
Yeah.
All while being heavily pregnant, dealing with a father that's dying, whilst receiving the biggest betrayal of her life.
Yeah, I agree. And I
She's
really
great.
like how she had that meeting with the mums.
Yep.
That was really important
Yeah.
to do, especially because they're really important key figures in hers and her children's life. And then also, I really liked that it was just screenshots.
Yeah.
Like, there was no interpretive you didn't have to do all that. You just had to look and read, and that was enough. So, yeah.
Update: my husband is cheating on me with my best friend. Hello everyone, I'm here with a much awaited update. For my typing sake, I'm going to give everyone fake names. So for context, mother-in-law and father-in-law, Ruth and Joe, ex-BFF parents, Angie and Bob, ex-BFF Jess, soon-to-be ex, Tyler, ex-BFF's brother, Jake. And I'll just refer to my dad as Dad. I have a few things I want to get through, so I'll just summarize as best as I can. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them in the comments. To get this out of the way, because to me, it feels important. Yesterday, I scheduled a same-day appointment with my OBGYN and got tested for just about every STD/STI out there.
Good.
I got the results for most back and they were all negative. There's a few that take up to 2 weeks to get the results back. So for now, I'll be waiting on those. When I met with my lawyer, I brought everything on my end financially wise, including the wills from both my dad and my mum, and I managed to get my hands on his financial documents. He stores this in his office in a locked box. I also brought over everything we had set up financially for my children. While I'm not totally sure if it's everything, I'm pretty confident I got most of it. My lawyer was happy that I managed to get my hands on that much. Ruth even handed over her will to me from both her and Bob to ensure I was taken care of in a divorce. My lawyer understands I am wanting a divorce immediately. However, she wants to make sure that she is thorough and isn't missing any key info. So hopefully I'll have actual divorce papers to give him in about 30 days. I'm not rushing her though. I'm letting the professional do her job. Now for the sit down. I asked Angie and Ruth to describe everything in detail on what happened. Angie, the revenge seeker that she is, forced them to sit down through a slideshow she put together of all the texts. I know a lot of you were concerned about one of them telling them sooner than later, but they were so secretive, they didn't even tell their significant others about what was happening. Once the slideshow ended, Tyler tried lunging for Jess, and Joe actually had to force him to sit down. Tyler was shouting profanities at Jess and telling her she will regret this. Jess started crying and begging her parents for forgiveness. Bob looked at his daughter in the eye and told her he will never forgive her for this. Blood or not, she's no daughter of his. He didn't raise his daughter to be this person. Jess was always a daddy's girl, so I think that cut her pretty deep. Jess is in the middle of a divorce herself, and her parents were giving her money for her lawyer, and they told her that she is cut off from both of them financially and physically.
Good.
Shit.
Tyler's dad was irate. According to Ruth, he looked like he was holding back on throttling him. From there, Tyler went straight home. I know because we have a Ring doorbell camera, along with a few cameras in the house for our kids to keep an eye on them when we aren't right next to them. Tyler came home and saw that most of mine and the kids' stuff was gone, and he lost it. Started yelling and throwing things. The house is now trashed with a few holes in the walls for decoration. When he didn't find us there, he went to my dad's. While I did spend most of the day, he was at work packing and moving things into my dad's house, we were already at his cabin. Tyler took a baseball bat to my dad's door, trying and failing to break it down. My dad's neighbor actually called the cops on him, and he was arrested. His parents refused to bail him out.
Good.
I had an appointment with my therapist today. I've had one for a year now since struggling with my dad, and it felt good to just cry and let it out about how I was feeling. It was very helpful, and she gave me a few tools to work through my emotions with this one. I felt very grounded and empowered leaving my session today. I'm also planning on setting up my children with a therapist when we get back from the cabin to figure out the best way to deal with telling them. I know people say I shouldn't, but I will be telling them, just in an age-appropriate way. I don't want there to be secrets and lies between us. I've always been as open and honest as I can with them, again, in the most kid-appropriate way. Just because they're small humans, they're still humans and still deserve the truth. I had a handful of comments telling me I should stay, and every man cheats. I should work things out because most of our marriage was good. I refuse to believe that all men cheat. My parents were married for 20 years, and after my mum passed, my dad never moved on. I watched my dad love my mum for 12 of those years and cherish her. I will not accept anything less than that kind of love. He never cheated, and nor did she. While I'm not sure when I'll be ready to move on, falling in love is the absolute last thing on my mind at the moment. I refuse to let Tyler win and destroy love for me completely. I will move on from this. Jess started blowing up my phone, demanding I fix this situation and immediately blaming me. My lawyer told me to not block any texts just in case they spill out any additional info I was missing. She was playing the poor me card very hard. The thing is though, I never influenced Angie and Bob to cut contact with their daughter. They made that choice on their own. She actually started blaming me for stealing the love of her life.
What?
When Tyler and I started dating, so not sure where that came from. And she said that Tyler is only with me for the kids. Honestly, I knew she was trying to hurt me at that point. I didn't even give her the satisfaction of responding though. Between her and Tyler, I have about 200 missed calls. Tyler went from begging and pleading me to forgive him. Like I said, I didn't have divorce papers to hand him, so he's stuck in this unknown grey area. I also asked Angie and Ruth to not say anything about the divorce to him yet, purely just for my satisfaction, honestly. I know it's slightly petty, but keeping him in the grey area of not knowing is my small revenge to him. To threatening to call the cops on me for kidnapping, telling me Jess wasn't the only one. Bingo, just what I was looking for.
Wow.
To telling me I'm a stuck-up bitch, to threatening me to go back to begging me for forgiveness. Honestly, it was just a whiplash reading those texts. I'd be lying if I said that those texts didn't hurt me and terrify me all at once, but I refused to let them break me. As for both of them together, I don't think he's going to stay with her. I think he blames her for blowing up our marriage, honestly. Who knows though? They deserve each other. I was initially okay to do a 50-50 split with Tyler for custody, but after his reaction, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I'll likely go for full custody. Jake has about 30 days of leave he's saved up, and he's going to be using them to help with the kids. And I get settled at my dad's house. And honestly, to be there in case Tyler tries showing up and going crazy again. He's been such a big help to the kids and I lately, and I'm forever in his debt for it. Last night, after the kids went to bed, he hooked up his Xbox and we played a game called Diablo 4 together to help me take my minds off things. It was fun. However, he did sort of confess that he's always had feelings for me somewhere in the midst of things, but also told me not to say or do anything back. He understands a relationship or anything like that isn't on my mind and won't be for a while. He isn't wrong, but just that he's felt that way since we were teenagers and just wanted to get it off his chest. Thank you again. Seriously, your comments, your support, your messages, all of it has been a giant breath of fresh air. Just knowing I have a whole online community willing to go to the bat for me has kept me treading water these last couple of days. Your comments have popped in my head when I felt like giving up on leaving him because it's so hard and gave me so many great points and helpful advice. I know I deserve more. I can't accept his actions. And to the people who commented relating to my situation, my heart goes out to you as well. This pain is awful and I hate that so many of us can relate. But your stories have resonated deep within me. You all keep commending me for my strength, and my personal favourite is telling me how proud you are of me. Every time I see those words, I start to tear up. I'm blaming the pregnancy hormones. But your words have helped me put me at ease so that way I could do what I knew I needed to do. So I'll leave it there for now. If anything of importance happens when I go back home, I'll update further. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
I'm just going to say, I really don't love this new storyline, this little plot of Jake confessing his feelings to her. We don't need that. We don't need that information. Sometimes just keep things inside. Like, literally, that's my only advice to people. She's going through a lot. She's literally going through a lot. And isn't Jake Jess's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not Tyler's brother.
No. I fully understand that. I just, like, we don't need that.
It's like, this ain't the time or place.
I just feel like with men, as soon as they see an open, they're going to go for it. But at the same time, he hasn't done anything with that. He's not tried anything. He's just
Even
told her.
he understands that this ain't a time.
Right, cool. But I'm also not going to commend that because sometimes you plant a little seed and this is what he's gone and done. And, you know, should she keep going through hard times and he keeps being this consistently good person in her life, then suddenly he looks more attractive. And I'm not saying that he's not well suited later down the line for OP, but I'm just saying, like, this is messy as it currently stands. Yeah. You don't need this confession of want from Jess's brother.
Girl, I'm of the line of don't let your current love life stop you from there. Jake, get in there, man. Get in there. I don't give a heck. Sorry.
We didn't finish what she was saying.
No,
she said, Jake, get in there.
No, do you know why? Because in this life, what I've learned is people are always playing chess. And you just need to be one step ahead. If you think you're better suited for her, you've liked her since you were too shy. My friend, once someone gets married, it's supposed to be forever. They've just broken up. He got in there. I understand. And he's been helpful.
He has, yeah.
No, I get it. I get your point. Don't think I'm dismissing it, but yeah.
I feel like I can see where this is going with Jake. But what stood out for me in that update is the way Tyler and Jess reacted. Mm-hmm. Oh, these people. Cheaters when they get caught. 101. Who knew that Tyler had anger, aggression issues? He took a bat to her dad's cabin door.
Knowing that he is dying.
And then he basically punched holes in the walls in their house, in Opie's house. Like, whoa. Also, when the slideshow had finished, do you know what he did? Do you remember? He lunged at Jess. Jess, who
he said, bitch, you ruined my life.
No, Jess, who is his partner in crime.
Yeah.
I know. That man is a wrong'un.
There's no
He's got
accountability.
no accountability. He thinks everybody else is a problem. He thinks Jess ruined his marriage.
Yeah.
Just the person that he was cheating with.
Even though
What are
he
you talking
said
about?
Jess weren't the only one.
Yeah. What are you talking about? This is all you, buddy. What?
I really loved, though, Jess's parents' reaction. I loved that they cut her off financially.
Yeah.
See that part? Oh, that was beautiful stuff.
It is. She's going through a divorce as well.
You know what? She's going through a divorce. She was
Wow.
financially reliant on them. Sorry. And she's here contacting Opie.
Not just saying, you stopped me from the love of my life. It's giving ghosts.
Can you imagine?
And can you let me grieve?
Yeah.
The love of my life just died. Famous lines.
No, this is absolutely crazy. These people got no remorse. Like, I don't understand. This was her husband and this was her best friend. Like, both of them like clean forgotten who they were supposed to be. None of them. Wow. Sorry. Okay, cool. Anyway, we've got another update. 1 month later. Hey everyone, I'm still getting daily messages and comments for an update. So here is what could possibly be my final one. My dad passed away about a week after my last update. I knew it was coming and it still feels like a gut punch. Thank you to everyone who kept him in your thoughts, truly. My marriage has officially ended. Once Tyler, in brackets, I believe that's a fake name I assigned to him, please don't call me out, it's been a while, discovered just how serious I was about leaving him, he became compliant and was willing to give me everything I asked for in the divorce. So my lawyer opted for a dissolution versus divorce. The process is a lot quicker and went smoothly. As of right now, I have full custody while he works out his anger management and whatnot with therapy. I'm not sure if I'll ever trust him again with the kids, but I'm also in therapy as well as my kids. I'm not making any decisions at all right now when it comes to that. He gets supervised visits at a facility where there's an army of staff and security and someone is there at all times. That's once a week and he does get video calls twice a week. The kids are adjusting pretty well. There are days when I think it affects them more, but they've suffered some big losses, so it's all to be expected. I did decide to give the baby my dad's first name though. It just felt right. But baby is doing so well and is thriving despite the amount of stress I've had going on. I'm managing as best as I can with everything going on. I miss my dad like crazy and I'm still trying to figure out how to exist in a world where he doesn't. The grief still is so very heavy. I'm still mourning my marriage as well. I don't regret leaving him, but it still hurts me deeply. However, I'm picking up the pieces and making my life whole without him. My mother-in-law, in brackets, well, ex-mother-in-law now, I guess, I don't know, still feels weird. And Angie helped me out so much. They've really allowed me to lean on them in these moments, whether it be taking the kids for a little while or cooking dinner for us when I don't have the energy. I truly am so lucky to have them. And finally, to what you've all been waiting to hear about, Jake. Jake is
Jackie, come on.
Jake is now back in California. He tried extending his leave, but the military said no. It was truly wonderful having him there and helping me. In the first few days after my dad's passing, he picked up so much slack for me that I will truly never be able to repay him for it. He is so patient and kind. That being said, nothing has happened between us, though he did hold me while I broke down after the kids went to bed quite a few times, but that's the extent of it. No kissing or anything like that. He does call me and text me multiple times a day. Right now, I just don't have any room in my life for romance. I have so much grief and the weight of being a single mum has been heavy. He hasn't pushed me on it either. He let me know that he meant every word he said and that he's willing to just be my friend until I decide I want more, if I ever decide I want more from him. I wish I could be the girl that jumps in with both feet, but the betrayal from my ex is still fresh and I'm worried I would burn anything out before it started. So I asked for friends and time to process everything else in my life before I can even consider processing a new relationship. He happily agreed. Oh, and Tyler and Jess are not a couple. Most of you are right, he left her high and dry. Though I don't wish misery on anyone, I'd be lying if I didn't say I get the smallest amount of satisfaction that her life went up in smokes. She's been blacklisted from her family, and I know a lot of you said it's weird that her parents did that, but if you guys knew just how deep my bond went with that family, it wouldn't seem weird at all. Angie is like my surrogate mum. She gave me the safe sex talk, the period talk. She listened to me cry about the boys who broke my heart. She held my hand while I delivered my kids. When she talks about me, she calls me her daughter. She knew my mum for practically her whole life. She held my mum's hand when she delivered me. And if anything had happened to both of my parents, she is who I'd have gone to live with. My parents had that in their will.
Aww.
So with all of that being said, please just be kind to me in the comments. I put these off for a few days because of how hostile some people were, and the prospect of being called a liar doesn't sound too appealing at the moment. Again, I can't thank you for the amount of light and love I've received from you. I promise I read every comment and message. I just haven't had the capacity to respond. You have really helped brighten my days with all of your words of encouragement. I appreciate you all. I'm so lucky to have an army of internet friends. You guys are the best. This is it for now. I probably won't post anything else for a while. I'm still trying to find my footing and I'm trying to get settled in a new routine before I bring a brand new baby in the world. I may come back to this, but I may not. Though I do promise I'll update if anything happens with Jake and I laugh out loud. I know so many of you became invested. P.S. Please excuse any typos. Pregnancy insomnia is kicking my ass right now. And that's it for now. That story has so many updates. We're actually going to continue it in the next episode. So don't forget to drop your subreddits and any comments.
And we have new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. UK time.
See you next time.
Bye.